Always a pleasure to see Mr. Armie Hammer and Timothy. It's great to be.
Hey, first time here, so
Josh.
You'll be saying that a year from now. But you guys seem to know each other very well.
We go way back. I'm very excited about this amazing movie. Call Me by Your Name first debuted at Sundance. I didn't get a chance to see it there. I recently caught up with it, and as you well know, it's been touching a chord with audiences since January. Just give me a sense of, like, you know, as the months kind of pile in and more people see it. Are you continually kind of reinvigorated and excited as, like, more people get exposed to it and it seemingly works for everybody? Is this a good ride?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. And if anything, there's been a little bit of a summer wait, just anticipating Toronto specifically, but also just this process now to get it out there and promote it and talk about it. Because we did it at Sundance in Berlin, but then it was like a 4-month wait. So I've been itching to get this stuff going.
Nice. I mean, for you, Armie, you've done obviously all manner of film. I'm a big fan of this director's work. Luca's a genius. What he brings to it, truly. So you sign on to something like this, and you know you're in good hands. But just give me a sense of, like, when you saw the finished product and when it started to screen, like, how gratified and excited, or what the emotions were in terms of what the finished product was.
You know, it's funny. I've never actually watched any project that I've been in and been satisfied or relieved or happy or excited. I'm always just like, ugh, why did I do it like that? Why did I stand like that? And why am I saying that like that? So for me, it's always a process of, like, self-loathing more than anything else. Yeah,
it's healthy. Normal for an actor, though.
Sure, I guess. Yeah.
So, but for this one, is it a little bit different? Are you able to kind of appreciate it because it's even beyond, like, forget your performance?
Yeah.
It's work. It works.
You know,
as a film.
I'm able to sort of. I watch this movie and what I see are sort of the base underlying emotions that every single human being feels. So it doesn't, like, you can watch this movie and regardless of your orientation or identification or whatever, or whoever you're with at the theater, when you watch this and see two people purely and organically and without tension or punishment, you see two men just fall in love with each other. Regardless of who you're with, it will remind you of the first time you fell in love or got a crush on somebody or fell in love with somebody and that person broke your heart or whatever. Like, those things that make us all human, that we've all experienced. You see it here in a way that might challenge your perspective, which I think is a good thing.
And I think one of the powers of it, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of the universality of it and how it's going to work for every kind of audience. But I think there's also, like, excitement around the fact that, I mean, you know, it'll be lumped in a good way, I think, in some ways, to Moonlight, which also kind of captured, like, a story that we don't necessarily see on film. We've seen dozens and hundreds of hetero love stories well told over the years, and the fact that this one isn't that. You can count on one hand, I feel like, films of this that tell this story in this way, and that's got to feel gratifying that you guys are making something that transcends and works with every audience.
That's exactly it.
I also think that there's a great element to this movie where no one pays for being gay. There's no punishment. Nobody gets sick. Nobody has a wife that they have to tell. There's no family drama. There's nothing like that. It's just two people who expose themselves and make themselves vulnerable to someone else, and that person receives it and does the same, and it's just a beautiful thing to watch happen.
What resonated with you the first time you read the script?
Reading it, well, I'd been desiring a sexual scene with a fruit in a movie for some time.
It's a bucket list
I read,
for any
I
actor,
read it
right?
and I thought, oh, this is it. Okay, all right, I found it. No, but
You'd kept suggesting it on set, like, what if we just add this in?
well, thankfully there was a book, so it was already in the book. But no, it was just the opportunity to play a role that's complex and meaty at a young age. It's rare to find young characters that are you know, that have the weight of the universe on their shoulders or something, or suddenly have it when their eyes fall on what is a person of interest at first, and then what is a first love, what blossoms into a first love. So
you mentioned the scene. I wasn't even going to bring it up, but I'm sure it comes up in conversation because it is like I can't remember another scene quite like that in a film I've seen.
American Pie.
There you go. That's true.
Wow, tonally that could not be more.
Every 15 or 20 years, there's a classic fruit sex scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the more odd days of shooting?
You know what? I guess as an actor, you always look to your director at the top of the morning, so you kind of gauge what mood they're in, see how they're doing. And I just saw how Luca was that day, and he wasn't treating it with any ceremony. He just treated it like any other day. So by the time we got around to shooting it, it just felt like a scene with dialogue or a breakfast scene. It just felt like anything else. And if he had treated it differently, I would have been shaking during that whole scene.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you describe it like that, and working with Luca. Like if I were to describe the film, I'd say it's like more sensual than like sexual, right? Like it's not like hugely graphic or anything, but it kind of like permeates with sensuality.
Yeah, and I
throughout.
think that helped free us up both sensually and sexually. Is that it's never salacious. It's never exploitative. Those moments serve the love story. It's
Yeah.
not a film about that.
I would think spending a summer in Italy is a pretty good way to work for a living.
It's better than a sharp stick in the eye, that's for sure.
Fair enough.
Who does that for a living?
That was his old job. You don't know about Arm's
Okay,
old
all right,
career?
yeah, no,
Lumberjacks.
I haven't heard anything about that. No, I haven't gotten into that yet.
Oh, what are you going to take away from the memories of shooting this one beyond what occurred on set? Was it sort of just an idyllic kind of?
Man, an awesome friendship with Army, an awesome friendship with Luca, and just Army's already gotten the chance to go back to Kramer. I haven't been able to be there yet or go back yet, but just a as immersive an experience as I think I'm ever going to get acting.
How did you two have time to kind of like meet before you got on set and kind of figure this relationship out?
Yeah, that was one of the great gifts that came from this movie. I mean, I feel like there were so many great gifts in the process of making this movie. But one of them was the fact that we did get time together. I showed up in Crema, and Timmy had already been there for a month, learning how to play the guitar and working on the piano and working on his Italian and all that stuff. So I show up to this little tiny town where nobody else speaks English, and it's Timmy, and we're there, and we're supposed to make this movie together, which is already like a great bond between two people. And then we just got to spend so much time together. We would work together all day, and then at night we'd probably, I mean,
Friendly Italian hours,
yeah. So you're done pretty early, which is
Nice.
great. They want to work about 8 and 9 hours a day, which is fantastic. And then you go to dinner, and then we'd go back to his place, and we'd go back to my place, and we'd rehearse and talk about the next day, what we were going to do, what our plans were, and then maybe watch TV, listen to some music, do whatever, go ride our bikes around the town square. We got so much time together, and it built such a feeling of safety and trust that regardless of whatever we had to do and whatever ways we were challenged or pushed in the process of filming, it felt like we were going through it together, which was really nice.
It's awesome. As you sat down, I mentioned that I've seen one of your other films here at TIFF, which is Lady Bird, which is
And he's
awesome.
got 3.
He's got Hostel, Scott Cooper, great filmmaker.
3
and
films this year, Man of the Year.
You've had multiples. Last year was Free Fire. Last year was that 2 years ago? I
Yeah,
can't even keep
Free
it.
Fire.
Birth of a Nation.
No, it wasn't. It was Free Fire. It was Nocturnal Animals, and I think this one at Sundance.
There you go. So nothing to slouch, be shameful of.
Passing on the mantle.
It's right.
Yeah.
Right.
So just talk to me about. You're having some really cool opportunities
Oh, yeah.
come your way right now. I know a Woody Allen film.
Right.
Is that going to be the next thing you shoot?
I think so, yeah.
That's amazing. So you're a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker.
Oh, nice. Where are you from?
The mean streets of the Upper West Side.
Oh, I love that you said it that way, because I actually know a guy that's from the Upper West Side that bills it the same way, but is not being comedic about it. He's actually an actor.
So is that a bucket list kind of thing to get to work with Woody?
That's exactly it, and to be able to tell a New York story in the tradition of Manhattan or Annie Hall, and also the opportunity to work with Elle Fanning now and Selena Gomez and
Yeah.
Jude Law. These are like titans of my age group. So
Right.
I'm like pinching myself there, and I mean this whole experience in Toronto has just been tremendously overwhelming too.
Have you met Elle or Selena before? Are you a fan of Selena's music?
I
or?
just met them the other day, and I
He
was
sings Selena Gomez songs all day.
That's not
I
true.
mean, well,
That's
even
not true.
before he signed on for the movie,
No,
he
no,
was
no.
literally like all day.
No,
Do
no,
you guys
no.
do a duet of Selena? What's your favorite
No,
Selena?
no, no.
Ready?
Yeah,
Do your
that's
favorite
not
one.
true.
Ready? 1,
No,
2, 3.
No.
And the tape cuts out.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
For you, Army, I mean, I'm continually impressed and excited by the kind of the choices that you've made in your career, especially, I mean, in recent years, like, you look like a superhero, like, kind of like, and you could kind of do like the boring leading man kind of stuff, and you continually work with like these unusual, interesting kind of filmmakers. Is that something that like, has there been a conscious kind of like decision in recent years in the way you approach material and the way you're choosing projects?
You know what? Yes and no is sort of like the short answer for that. I got a chance to make some great projects within the studio system, and I had a great time. But I really at that time was choosing to work with directors. I got to work with some amazing people, whether it be David Fincher, Clint Eastwood, Guy Ritchie. I got to work with some really great directors. But then I was like, you know what? I want to try and do it a little differently. I still want to work with great directors, but I want to be challenged more. I want to struggle through one of these things, like that kind of thing. And it's been great to get to do the opposite side of the pendulum swing and do these small movies. I mean, I recently did a movie where I got paid literally nothing, and it was incredibly rewarding.
I'm sure you get these sent to you every day. You're gonna probably hand me for showing them to you, but they're fan art of.
Oh, let's see it.
Okay, so
Oh, I thought it was going to be like Us. Oh, yeah, no, I don't want to see that.
What about this one? Does this one make you feel any happier? What do you make when you see things like that?
I feel like that's something like Freddie Mercury would wear, you know?
You look very cool. You could pull off the Green Lantern thing.
Oh, boy.
What do you think?
Oh, boy. I think that whoever did that did a very fantastic job.
Are you open
That's
to
the
those
safe
kind
answer.
of things at this point, or are you kind of like, as you said before, kind of like interested in different kinds of things?
Josh, I'm a complete whore. I will work with anybody for anything. Like, if you have a job for me, I'll take it.
Sold. Okay. I'll get my script out. Congratulations on the new film, guys. I'm excited for more audiences to see it. It's truly a very powerful and special piece of work.
Hey, this is
It's
really
great to
cool to
meet
meet you,
man.
and it's so cool to get to hold this.
Thanks, buddy.
Put it in your pocket. Put it in your pocket.
No. Thanks, buddy.
Good to see
As
you.
always.